Hello students, in our previous video we had known what is a clause and its types, that is the independent and dependent clause. So in this video we will learn more about clauses, okay? Like the phrases that we had done in our previous video, clauses are also of three kinds, okay? So by now I hope you all know what are clauses, okay? Clauses are a group of words that contains a finite verb and has a subject and a predicate. Okay, so coming back to the kinds of clauses, the three kinds of clauses are noun clause, adjective clause, and an adverb clause. Okay, so the first one, noun clause. A noun clause is a group of words that has a subject and predicate and does the work of a noun in a sentence. Okay, like for example, that he said such a thing is surprising. So we can see that the underlined sentence here is a subordinate clause, as it has a subject, that is he, a finite verb, and also has an incomplete meaning, okay, because it is not stating a complete thought. Okay, it also plays the role of a noun, thus this clause can be considered as a noun clause. And it also answers the questions like what. Okay, like what is surprising? That he said such a thing is surprising. So in this noun also stands as the object of the sentence. Hence, we understand from the above example and explanation that if a subordinate clause plays the role of a noun, then the clause is called a noun clause. And also that a noun clause can be either a subject or an object of a sentence. Okay. Okay, so the next one, that is an adjective clause. An adjective clause is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate and does the work of an adjective in a sentence. Okay, so as we all know, an adjective is a word that modifies or qualifies a noun or a pronoun. Likewise, if a subordinate clause modifies or qualifies a noun or a pronoun in a sentence, then the clause is termed as an adjective clause. Like for example, Amit has a brother who lives in Pune. Here the underlined words, which is a subordinate clause, that is, who lives in Pune, modify and describe the noun brother in the sentence, okay? Thus it is an adjective clause. And another thing that you have to remember in this clause, that is adjective clause, is that it can be introduced with relative pronouns or relative adverbs. Okay, relative pronouns are like who, that, which, whose, etc. And relative adverbs when, why, where. Okay, adjective clauses introduced by relative pronouns or relative adverbs are also called relative clauses. Like for example, Mr. Paul is the teacher who helped me. The painting which I bought yesterday is magnificent. Okay. Okay, so the next type of clause, that is an adverb clause. So an adverb clause is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate and does the work of an adverb in a sentence. Okay, it modifies the meaning of a verb, adjective, or even another adverb. Okay, like for example, I left when the rain stopped. So here the subordinate clause, that is when the rain stopped, says the time of the verb leaving. So the clause here modifies or tells about the verb leaving, okay? Thus it can be called as an adverb clause. Okay, and like we have done it in the phrases chapter or the phrases video, so here as well the adverb clause are of different types. Okay, that is adverb clause of time, adverb clause of place, adverb clause of manner, adverb clause of condition, reason, adverb clause of result, adverb clause of comparison, adverb clause of contrast, and adverb clause of purpose. So let us do it one by one. Okay, so the first one is adverb clause of time. So what is it? An adverb clause of time states when something happens or how often something happens. Okay, it answers the questions like when. Okay, it is usually introduced by the subordinating conjunctions like when, whenever, before, after, as, while, until, as soon as, no sooner than, and since. Like for example, do not forget to switch off the light before you go to bed. Okay, let's go to the party after your work. So likewise, you can see how it answers the questions when. Okay, when to switch off the light? Okay, before you go to bed. Okay, so when to go for the party? After your work. Okay, so the next one, that is adverb clause of place. An adverbial clause of place states where something happens. Okay, it answers the questions where. It is usually introduced by the subordinating conjunctions such as anywhere, everywhere, where, or wherever. For example, they are not sure where she lives. Next one, you can keep your bags wherever you want to. Okay, so you see here how it answers the question where. Okay, so where are you to keep your bags? Wherever you want to. And where she lives, they are not sure. Okay, so the next one, adverb clause of manner. An adverb clause of manner tells us how something is done. It answers the question how. Okay, it often starts with one of the subordinating conjunctions like, as though, or the way. For example, she looked as though she was in pain. Okay, so how did she look? She looked as though she was in pain. Okay, next one, she cried like a child. So how did she cry? She cried like a child. Okay, so you see how it answers the question how.